Shana Tova, everybody. I hope this video finds you all well and you are enjoying the beginnings of a sweet new year. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Melissa Dunn, and I'm Vanderbilt Hillel's president. When staff approached me about writing a devar for Rosh Hashanah, I instantly panicked. There's so much going on in the world right now, and I wondered how I could ever be able to communicate all the emotions we're feeling. Whether you're a student, parent, or Nashville community member watching this video, this year brought significant challenges. Specifically, as a Vanderbilt community, our Vanderbilt experience changed as we know it, and our expectations have shifted dramatically. I've spent a lot of time reflecting on what this means. Yes, I'm incredibly sad about the lost time. My senior year, my last year as a free college student, looks completely different than how I pictured it just 1 year ago. Instead of going out to Broadway as newly minted 21-year-olds, we instead spend our free time mostly holed up in our apartments. Instead of spending way too much time upstairs Hillel eating all the free snacks, I spend way too much time sitting at my desk. And instead of spontaneous moments catching up with old friends, walking around campus, every social interaction is instead meticulously pre-planned and very rarely centered around actually going to campus. And while this all pales in comparison to greater systemic issues like the 200,000 people who have died from COVID and the racial violence our country is experiencing, we can still acknowledge that these small things are weighing on us. It's a lot to be bummed out about. What I've learned so far from 6+ months of whatever this is that it's okay to be bummed out at times. We can and should acknowledge that we're sad for all the things we're missing out on. And at the same time, we can also acknowledge how much we've been able to gain in return. I'm challenging myself to look at this year through a new perspective, a different mindset. The expectations I placed on myself for this next year have never felt so distant. And spoiler alert, not much is probably going to change before the school year is finished. And that's a little scary, but also super exciting. We've all unexpectedly gained this sudden influx of free time, and Vanderbilt students are well aware of how precious of a resource time is. It's important now that we remember how to take advantage of it. I've used this unexpected stationary moment in my life to reevaluate how I want to allocate my larger than anticipated amounts of free time this year. I'm finally figuring out how to braid challah correctly the first time and making Shabbat a more regular part of my weekly routine. I'm trying to spend less time mindlessly scrolling on my phone and more time hanging out with friends. I'm focusing on clubs and activities that bring me joy and spending less time involved in organizations I thought I had to do as a Vanderbilt student. I'm learning that less is sometimes more. That's an incredibly hard lesson to appreciate, especially when you're a student at Vanderbilt. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes we can get these lessons wrong. I might miss a deadline or club meeting, fail a problem set, or let someone down who's counting on me. But in comparison to this whole crazy global pandemic shutdown thing going on, is messing up any of the above really the end of the world? I'd argue the greatest failure would be not trying something new at all. I'm ready to embrace that change. One of my favorite aspects of Judaism is how prevalent reflection is. During Rosh Hashanah, we're offered the chance to think about what went right and wrong in the past year. And then, we're challenged to be better going forward. In a lot of ways, Judaism's approach to Rosh Hashanah is not too different from the challenges we face as Vanderbilt students. The idea of teshuvah, or repentance, is rooted in strength. Our experience repenting strengthens each time we attempt it, but we cannot become better at seeking repentance if we never attempt to seek forgiveness in the first place, even if we might mess up, or get it wrong, or simply have no idea what the best place to start is. In my opinion, the only way you can really fail when it comes to teshuvah is not having the courage to try in the first place. We return to this cycle every year, which is fitting given that the word teshuvah is rooted in the Hebrew word for return. As college students, we also return to Vanderbilt each year around the same time frame, our unbounded enthusiasm and overall joy for reuniting with friends, providing life and lightness to Nashville. There's something special about everyone returning to Vanderbilt after the summer and feeling like campus is turning on again. It reminds me a bit of the story of the world's creation. The first day God created the world, he said, "Let there be light." The world couldn't function without light existing. It didn't matter what was happening with day or night or time. Those came later, on day 4, and there was no bothering God to create darkness either. What mattered was that the world needed light. This year back at school looks different. The lightness isn't quite as intuitive to find as it's probably always been, but it's here, and it will always be here. It might take some practice and some failing to find it, but at the end of the day, this is the same Vanderbilt community that's been here, and will continue to be here, through both the good times and the bad. I hope you'll join me in seeing this year as a spectacular opportunity to reflect on what this year's given us, and how we can embrace change, while still returning, year after year, to the same place we love to call home. Shana Tova, everyone. I hope you all have a great new year.